All right, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the Oracle Inn podcast. My name is Eric. I'm joined by Laquan and Kevin, and we are back for another week. And we're going to keep bringing it, and we're going to keep bringing it and keep bringing it until people start checking in. We want people to engage. There are things going on in the world.
Pay attention, man.
Back attack.
The whole world's on fire. We're all going to die.
Well, hopefully not, man. Do you know how hard it is, though, to keep optimism every day, just waking up to this bombardment of negativity? A lot of negativity in the world right now.
No, it's great. All you have to do is don't think about it.
Oh, I could try, but that's going to be a little difficult. Don't you think?
No, it's good. All you do is just stare at the wall, get into a nice little trance, go on about your business.
Oh, Lord. Well, so for those of you that are joining us, the way that we break this down is we do a podcast for about an hour, and we break it down into 3 segments. The first segment, we cover recent events, and then the next 2 segments are topical. So we'll kind of choose here and there different things to talk about. For today, we're going to be doing recent events, talking about the pros and cons of a college education, and then in our third segment, looking at the value of space exploration. So, Kevin, you are definitely more wired into the Twitters and Facebooks and all
I like
of that.
the Twitters.
So what kind of headlines you got?
All right. So, speaking of the whole world's falling apart, let's start off with Somalia, because we don't talk about Africa that much. I remember being younger, and it was all that, oh, you have to send money to Africa because they're starving, and all that kind of stuff. You don't get maybe I don't have regular TV, so I don't see those commercials as often or ever. I don't know if they're still on, but there's some serious stuff going down related to drought, which, living in the world that we do, where climate change is coming, and it's coming, getting drought and getting some of these big events it's kind of scary, because it's just telling us what's coming. So basically, in 48 hours, 110 people in Somalia died from hunger. Right? From hunger. They starved to death. They say this is due to a drought that is, an ongoing thing. And the estimate is that in that region, that 5 million people need aid. So as we see this, playing out, it's going to be, we're going to see this on a regular basis. Is some country, mostly in the, not as developed world, or the third world, is going to be just hurting due to droughts, flooding, all this kind of, all the things that we're expecting from climate change. And 110 people in 2 days just from hunger is, that could easily be 1,000 or more. And it's kind of terrifying to start thinking about it.
It is terrifying, and I think one of the big things too, for the people who are plugged in, when I say plugged in, people who are, conscious of what's going on in the world, and who critically think, who vet news sources and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a big issue, but a lot of people, and not all, but most people who are on like Facebook and stuff like that, they only care about what people say on Facebook, right? So like, pray for France, or pray for this, or pray for that, but when you think about the countries within the continent of Africa, you never hear this kind of stuff. People are dying, so they almost tell you who to grieve for, to a certain extent. Like it should be nothing to send money out, do a GoFundMe. $5 will probably go a long way in Somalia. Just $5 will go a long way in Somalia to bring aid, whether it's rice, or whatever it is. So it just, I don't know, it's always puzzling to me that more people, don't get on board with this. The lack of empathy for humanity, is, I think, is absent for the most part.
Yeah, they were saying it's something like 300 and something thousand children are critically malnourished. I think that's, people change their Facebook photos and they talk about how much they, oh, this is terrible. We need to do, but nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, I'm not saying nobody. There's lots of these nonprofits. There are people that are sending money. There's people trying to help, but most people, their idea of helping is changing their Facebook profile picture. That's the extent. Oh, I'm going to pray for you. How about you send me $5? Because, last I checked, the bank doesn't accept prayers, and I can't build a well with prayers. I need a little bit of cash dollars.
So you know what's interesting about this? A friend of mine just posted it on Facebook. There was an article that came out that was talking exactly what you're bringing up, that the way that we think we're acting morally, but it's actually self-directed, and it makes us feel better because we feel like I am voicing something I see as being wrong. And then you think that voice carries throughout all of the internet, and somehow it's going to create enough waves and enough momentum to change things. And it's just interesting because, the psychology of all of this is that we have been, through the media, through technology, and all these different avenues, it's a false sense of security. We don't feel we need to act.
Well, yeah, plus it's masturbation. We really like to make ourselves feel as good as we can, even if it does nothing for anyone else. It's like, oh, that was great. I feel awesome after, posting about Africa or France or... Okay, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight, though, gentlemen, because we have some local, let's look here at the nation state that we're in. We have a few things going. For the State of the Union, I don't know, did you guys watch it wasn't State of the Union. Did you watch Trump speak to Congress?
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I will not do it. So
yeah.
No.
Well, I tend to watch the watered down versions I'll watch Trevor Noah or Stephen Colbert take the clips of what he said and then make fun of him. Like that I can handle. I won't sit there and watch the whole speech because people are going to analyze it for me anyway. Why do I need to sit there and listen to, this buffoon just, yammer on? So one of the things that he was really pushing and that he's trying to really get behind is this whole, in the U.S., we need to use U.S. products. We need to, have U.S. work and jobs and, U.S. focus, kind of us. And which is funny from the guy who's all of his products, his Make America Great hats were made in China, along with all of the products that him and his whole family make. So for him to stand up there and say, we're doing it in the U.S. labor, U.S. products. So he gets out there. Everyone's talking about how presidential he sounds because someone slipped him a Valium before he talked, gave him a teleprompter and said, read the words, Donald. But he's already broken that. And with what I expect to be the common thing that we're going to start seeing, which is, where rhetoric, there's exemptions to rhetoric for what is reality. So the Keystone Pipeline, he basically said, we're going to build it using U.S. steel and products and labor and stuff, or we're not going to build it. Well, newsflash, they're not using U.S. steel. They've already kind of exempted them from that. So you might hear him talk about how it's all local and jobs and all that kind of thing, but they're already not going to do it. So
just to clarify then, yeah, he made a lot of promises that he was going to, help make this whole America focus thing. And then that pipeline, that steel, and it's a Russian company, right?
What I got to look and see.
I think that's what I heard somewhere, that he was pushing to have American Steel Company supply that steel. So that way it's all done locally.
Yeah.
And then they wound up outsourcing it anyways.
Yeah, it's looking like it is Russian, which shocker.
There's no shock there.
Speaking of Russia, Jeff Sessions.
So Jeff Sessions, he's the Attorney General?
Yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of Trump's cabinet picks. And
yeah, so
he's got a lot of issues.
He's a racist troll doll from the Deep South.
Racist troll doll. That's a new one. I haven't heard of that
before. Have you looked at a picture of him next to a Keebler elf? Dude, do it. Get online right now. Yeah. But so okay, so I've been reading a lot about this because you have the Democrats and the liberals are coming out and going, he perjured himself. You know, they got their torches and pitchforks ready. And then you got some attorneys and other people are like, he didn't perjure himself by definition, but what he said was wrong and stupid and, you know, a lot of other things. But to actually hit him with a perjury charge would be really hard, because what it comes down to is he volunteered information that had nothing to do with the question that was asked. Which, if you talk to some police officers, a lot of times what you'll hear is criminals want to be caught, right? They give you more. That's why every attorney, every person that is within the law kind of thing, right, tells you if you're arrested or if a cop's around, shut up, don't talk, don't give them anything, right? That's number one advice. Don't talk. But he started talking. And he lied under oath, or misremembered, if you want to.
Well, the way he stated it is that it's something like, it's not uncommon for any, businessman or person who works in the government in the United States to have ties in other countries. So it's not so much that he was talking with them. I guess it was the timing. And then when he was directly asked that under oath, he said no, explicitly said, I have not been in contact.
Yeah, he said, I don't know what you're talking about, and I've never done it myself. And the evidence comes out that there was 2 meetings. I'm actually going to give him one of those and say, dude, no big deal. So he had just gotten done doing a speech, and the guy came up to him and they was shooting the shit after the speech. I've done a lot of public speaking, and I talk to a lot of people after you're done. You're not talking about anything of any substance, and you're not, there's no real stuff going on. It's, it is what it is. The other one is an actual meeting, right? So he essentially lied about it. Now he's had to recuse himself from any investigations of the Trump campaign, not just on Russia, but on the Trump campaign. So anything that blows up on the Trump campaign, Sessions has to step back. Or
the scrutiny is just, though, because at this level, transparency is key. There is no misremembered, there is no alternative facts or anything like that. So for that, what he said, you have to scrutinize it to the highest degree. The American people have to have, in theory, transparency. We need to know everything, especially right now with this looming Russia thing over the Trump's administration. Even that meeting, when a dude came up to him, you still have to question it, only because there's so much lying going on. And they're being debunked and stuff. I do understand where you're coming from, and it makes total sense. But I'm just saying, from an ethical standpoint, like you still need to, you don't know, because they're always lying.
Some of what I've read, and let me say, I am not a world scholar on this subject matter. I have to, essentially what I do is try to look around, gather all the different viewpoints possible, and try to sort through the bullshit to find the truth. And one of the articles, which I'm not going to say is true or not true, but they were saying this guy that he was meeting with, the Russian, is known as kind of like a spy recruiter for Russia. Like that's one of his things that he does, is he goes out and finds people that are going to help Russia, slip him intel, do that sort of thing. Which, if that is true, and you have this guy who lied about meetings with them, you can understand why he lied about meeting with them. Because this is a guy that, you don't want to be having meetings with as a surrogate for the new incoming administration. And especially if you're going to be the attorney general.
There's just too much secrecy happening right now. Like, just with that, and I go back to the transparency thing, like there is no clear transparency. Like, we just don't know. We're like you're saying, we're trying to sort through the bullshit right now. Trump won't release his taxes. They voted that he doesn't have to release his taxes. Sessions has met with the Russians twice or however many times, but we can't get the truth out of that. So it's just one thing after another that we just don't know. But nobody in the House or the Senate, besides the left, is pushing, for the truth. Yeah. It's so crazy. It's like they're bunkered in, and nobody is trying to penetrate that wall. And that's, I think, as a citizen in this country, that I think that's very disheartening. It's like, wow, like these are publicly, and the operative word is publicly elected officials, but yet we can't get the truth from them, even though we put them in those situations. You know what I'm saying? Those positions.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Nothing makes sense.
Well, so the part of this that bothers me, which, okay, so the entire thing bothers me. I'm not going to pretend like this is normal, this is okay in any stretch of the imagination, right? But the fucking the tantrum that the Republicans threw over Hillary Clinton and over a couple of things, which compared, okay, so I'm no fan of Hillary. I don't think that's ever been in question. That, you know, I'm not in her camp. However, this, you know, that what she was accused of doing is the Mr. Rogers neighborhood of what these guys are just refusing to investigate. Not even, they're just refusing. They're like, okay, so your attorney general may have met with a potential spy dealer, and you're not even going to look at it. Oh, no, of course not. Why would we look at that? You're talking about, oh, she deleted some emails. And you got your administration, what is it now, 4 people from his transition team that have been tied directly to the Russian government? And they're not even going to look at it. They spent, what, over a year looking at Benghazi? Just thing after thing after thing. Just millions and millions of dollars of wasted money. And they're not even going to look. They have zero desire to even say, hey, let's clear the air. Let's make sure. Let's show the American people there is nothing to see here.
Well, I mean, for me, what I just kind of see when I take a step back from everything is that I don't want to say warfare, because it doesn't have to be warfare, but there's definitely a class difference, and that very upper echelon class took over. They are now in charge. Yeah. If you have billions of dollars, you are now in charge.
The 1% took over pretty much. The 1% we're always talking about.
Yeah.
You know, that runs everything. Did. They're actually, because so there's that classism and there's sexism too, you know, because if you think about a lot of things that Trump did, I mean, that Hillary did, that Trump's doing too, you know, lying, you know, Hillary lied on a lot of things too, and she got debunked.
Wait, what does that have to do with sexism?
No, I'm just saying, because Hillary, she did a lot of things. She lied, you know, emails and stuff like that. Oh. But Trump, you know, and his administration, they've done a lot of the same things too. But what I'm trying to say is the public outcry is different. You know, with Hillary, people was ready to, you know, again, like I said before, you know, take her to the stake and burn her alive. But with Trump, it's like, well, you know, let's not worry about that. You know, he's trying to do great things for the country, you know, but it's like, no, where's the accountability for him and his administration?
There is none. And so I understand why Trump is wanting to keep everything, you know, secret, cloak and dagger, because chances are, I mean, no one's put anything to him right now that a court is actually saying, hey, let's bring this guy for impeachment charges or anything like that. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of damn smoke that's blowing a singular direction from over there. And to hear that no one's even thinking about, you know, even, okay, Eric, I'm accusing you of having sex with a goat. And all I ask is that you publish some information that says that, you know, I just want to know who you met with on one day, and that'll clear it up. And to have everyone around you saying, no, there's nothing to see there. We don't need to talk to that guy. You're like, yeah, but it's real easy. Let's talk to the one guy and it'll be done. I'll look like the asshole for even suggesting it. But I mean, to me, that suggests guilt. The fact that no one is, how easy would this be to just put to bed?
Yeah. So I have to say, I'm going to have to bring this up here. So one of the things that is concerning me also is this. So bills get proposed all the time, but if anybody's wondering where we're really at in getting rid of the EPA, this is basically a bill that proposes that, to terminate the EPA. There's also been another bill proposed to eliminate or terminate the Department of Education. And there are quite a few other bills that are coming up that are looking at how can we, you know, completely dismantle the federal government. So, You know, and again, bills get proposed all the time. Some of them are really wacky. That's why oftentimes you have to rely on responsible Republicans and Democrats who are going to make sure the really wacky ones don't get through. But it looks like, you know, with the type of deals that are being done right now,
they're not even being secretive about it. You know, you look at the CPAC speeches, and they were talking about we are going through, and we want to just do massive deregulation. We want to get rid of the teeth that these agencies have. Go read the transcripts. This is them saying it. This isn't liberal spin. This is no bias. This is listen to the words they say about here's what we're trying to do. And they want to get rid of, you know, even if they don't want to get rid of the EPA, because that bill would never pass. It wouldn't, you know, there are enough, you know, conservative people that like clean drinking water and clean air and stuff. They'd be like, guys, come on, that you wouldn't find enough to do that. However, they're talking about eliminating what, like 30% of the EPA and taking a ton of money out of them. You might as well get rid of them if you take away all their resources, because then they're just an agency in name only.
Right.
Yeah, they're not trying to hide it, you know. So just in closing, like, what does law enforcement say? The best place to hide something is in plain sight, you know. So, and I use this loosely when I say, you know, my hat's off to them, because they don't lie to us. I mean, they do lie to us, but like they lie right to your face, you know. They say like, hey, this is what it is. Sorry, what are you going to do about it? You know, it's pretty much what are you going to do about it? You know, like, yeah, like Trump has already gone back and on a lot of things that he said during the campaign, and he came out and said, yeah, I said it because of this. I said it because of that. There's no outcry. He's like, well, I'm here now. So what?
Did you guys see that speech that he did where he was like, yeah, I didn't actually like this drain the swamp thing, but it played well. And, you know, people seem to react to it. So I said it. Like, he was saying this to a campaign rally.
Yeah. Like and nothing. What are you going to do now?
They didn't even blink.
Like, I got you.
Yeah. He told them, dude, I lied to you, you guys. Oh, but okay. That is my one favorite thing from the speech he did, was when he's like, we've begun to drain the swamp. And you hear just people just laughing. You actually, if you watch, you see Paul Ryan sitting behind him, almost smile. You see him like start to like do the, it's awesome.